Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Kingdon Radio, our podcast. My name is Angel, better known as Tumblr's or TV Gremlin, and I am so happy you're here. Today, we are discussing episodes 3 and episodes 4 of season 1 of the Pitt, and how that pertains to our doctors who are so weird about each other. I will fully, when discussing Kingdon, especially my real life, will be like, well, they're doctors, and they're really, really weird about each other. In fact, as my wonderful friends, you know who you are. We'll call it Angel Lore Drop. Today I was talking to a coworker about a fanfic I was reading, and I will tell you the exact name of the fanfic because it's my fucking favorite thing ever, which is, and I'll show you mine, by Which Bitch Adam. These fics are locks, you need an AO3 account, but they are fucking incredible. They are so good. Life-alteringly good fanfic. They are fucking incredible. I'm obsessed with them. And they deserve every single hit and every single read and every single kudos that they get. They're fucking incredible. And I am obsessed with it. So I was reading that, and in that fic, Mel is pregnant and she has to get her blood drawn by Langdon, and there's a line about how Langdon's good at giving the blood draw, which me, an impatient phlebotomist, laughed at, because while I do believe Dr. Langdon would be good at a blood draw, doctors are not trained to draw blood, and they are universally bad at it. So while I'm sure Mel's big, fat, juicy antecubital vein, yes, I do know the names of all the veins in your arm, don't at me, or the veins that we draw blood from, while I do think that he would be good at hitting that with a butterfly needle, I don't think that doctors universally are good at drawing blood. And I wanted to complain about that to my phlebotomist coworker. And so I said, yeah, I was reading this book. I didn't even say what book it was. I just said it was a book. You ever do that? You ever say fanfic's a book? So your coworkers don't think you're crazy? Because I do that. What do you do when you get home, Angel, to decompress? I read and I do crafts. I record a podcast about Kingdon, actually. That's what I do. I come home, I record a podcast about Kingdon. Okay, so let's talk these hot eps. To quote McKay, I just can't say no to a hot appy. I can't say no to a hot epi. You guys are gonna have to kill me at a certain point. You are going to have to take me out back like old Yeller and say, you have shipped too close to the sun, okay? Bang, bang. Real. Okay, so episode 3, 9 a.m. Let's talk. So this is Stemi with Me Mel. This is the Stemi with Me Mel episode. Now, when did Angel become a shipper? When she read Divine Pity and A Boat. But before that, what made me go look for Divine Pity and A Boat was the Crike scene, rewatching the Crike scene, and then Stemi with Me Mel. So on first watch, I was like, God, I really just hope they get to stay best friends. I want to be contrarian. And then on my second watch, I was like, girl, you ship them. You need them to make out sloppy at the nurse's station. So, everyone XO3. My first note is about Frank asking Perla about pets. I said that's my himbo. I love him talking to Javati, just clueless as fuck, because he is clueless as fuck. When Javati comes over and is trying to get information about why McKay has the ankle bracelet, and he's just like, Cassie? I don't know. She has a son. I know that. He doesn't know jack shit about her. He's pretty private. That's really important to me. I also think it helps us understand that these people really are coworkers, and it does make a lot of sense. Frank doesn't know she's in recovery, and also when Frank comes back and no one reached out to him, it's sad. Dana or Robbie or Abbott or Mel would have reached out if she had his information, which she doesn't. Collins also probably reached out, but then she moved away. But no one reached out, no one cared. Now McKay is an R2, so she's only been there for 2 years. She would have been an R2 when Frank got there. Frank is in the same residency as Collins, and now as Samira, because Samira is now a full year ahead of him because they have graduated past that July. So he is repeating his R4 year while they are, but he's basically, he's ready to be an attending. He's done that full year of R4, so I guess he was about 3 months into being a senior resident, so he's, a super senior resident because of the benzos. But it's just really funny to watch a guy who is incredibly competent and smart, and when you see him, I think especially in the MCI episodes, you really get to see just how good of a doctor Frank is. There are a lot of moments where he does things where you're like, holy shit. And then also him reducing the cervical spine fracture, he's an incredible doctor. And I feel like we talk about it a lot, but we don't talk about it enough because he's a really good doctor. And he's also clueless as fuck and a himbo. Two things can be true at once. Yes, I'm just obsessed with that. I'm also obsessed with, how do you feel? Do you ever kids have any pets? And Perla being I follow my mother's rule. She's my house is like a zoo. And I love Perla being I have too many children. How many children does Perla have? We don't know. But apparently it's too many. # real girl. Next one is Dana tapping him on the shoulder, because right after that, like, he's looking up at the board, and that's when like, Dana taps him on the shoulder, and that's Mother. I love them together. Like, that's Mother. And if you've read my fanfic, which I'm assuming none of you have, but if you have, I'm obsessed with Dana as Mother. I'm obsessed with Dana and Mel. I'm obsessed with fics where Dana moms out on Mel. I'm obsessed with fics where Dana moms out on Frank. I'm just obsessed with her being the mother figure of the mama bear of the ED and keeping the ship running and doing all the hard shit. She's just everything to me. It's everything. And I love that she is so... She calls him kid. She's so maternal for him. We also see that a lot in season 2 with our kids disappoint us, and that line is so fucking amazing. When we get to that point in the rewatch episodes, will we get to that point? We have a lot of months. But when Dana says to Robbie, sometimes our kids disappoint us, and Robbie goes, Langdon's not a kid, and she goes, yeah, but he's your fucking guy. I feel like that really encompasses what's happening, and her calling him kid. She's hard on him when he's in the break room, but she talks on him, she kind of loves on him. It's really sweet. I just adore them. I think they're the best. All right, and then also, I don't mean to be a dick. You just can't help it. You just can't help it. It's like having a kid I never wanted. More of those lines where I'm just like, yes, mother and son. I'm fucking obsessed. Like, it is tea. Again, I don't know. I think I also I love the idea of Frank as, and I talked about this a lot in my Patreon bonus episode, my first one for personal headcanons. I talked a lot about my view of Frank, and I've talked about this a bit on the pod, but to me, Frank is very much like, I picture him as Appalachian. I picture him as poor, like lower middle class. Same thing with Mel. And kind of like, you know, I picture him as someone who used to be 16 years old reading history books, chain smoking cigarettes on his back porch, and who wasn't popular and wasn't hot and was kind of annoying and wasn't interesting and wasn't that guy, who then became that guy. And I think that, at least to me, my headcanon and my fanon is that when I look at him, I think, okay, I feel like this guy is putting on the facade of being an asshole, when in reality he's a good fucking guy, and he's playing a part, but in reality he's not. This isn't him. And I think that Dana kind of sees through that when she's calling him an asshole. And he's like, yeah, you know, like, they play. I think Garcia also sees through that with, you know, I bust Langdon's balls and he's an asshole, but I've never seen him impaired. He's an incredible doctor. And that relationship, I love their relationship. I love that they just fall right back into it, that she does not give a shit he was in rehab. She's just like, he's like, I knew someone missed me, and she's like glaring at him. I'm fucking obsessed with it. Also, that scene has one of my favorite lines in the whole show, which is him going, all right, who's next at the deli of death? We can Disney, no thanks. Flank pain, nudity wafers. But a capsus, a great teaching case for a student. Dana goes, don't let me tell Robbie you're cherry picking. And he like laughs, and he leans over and goes, I'll take projectile vomiting in North 5, Alex. And she raises her hands, and he goes, what? He goes, and he says, by the way, off the fucking dome. Just know this scene by heart casually. He goes, what are our chances of me catching a demonic possession? She goes, about the chance of you going a whole hour without saying something stupid. And then he like kind of falls off the desk, and he's giggling, and she goes, go, come on, it's like having a kid I never wanted. It's amazing. But I say to myself when I'm alone on the floor, so I'm like looking at my list of people who need their blood drawn in the hospital, I'll go, who's next at the deli of death? Important to me, things that are important to me. Mel with Whitaker, I have nothing to say other than I love her stimming rep matters, etc. It's my note. So after Mr. Milton dies, we get that great scene of Mel and Whitaker, and Mel kind of wiggling and feeling anxious, and her remembering the first time, and her having that really emotional reaction to death, and him saying like, well, it must be hard for you to be a doctor if you have an emotional reaction to death, and her going like, yeah, it's not great. I just fucking love that scene. I think that scene's amazing. I think that them together is so incredible. I think that, not them together, I think that Whitaker, I don't like Whitaker. We've talked about this. I don't really like Whitaker. I think he's boring. I think that Whitaker is most compelling when he has other characters to bounce off of, or when other characters are bouncing off of him. And that scene to me is a great example of that. And I really like that, how Mel is represented as autistic. I feel that really deeply, of that like deep discomfort she's having. I think it's incredible. And then we talk about this, but not enough, which is that Langdon is fully looking at Mel during the Mr. Melton debrief. We catch him looking at her because she's kind of has her head down, and there's a shot where Patrick's eyes are on her, or Patrick's eyes are on Taylor. I don't know. Since that interview came out, it's been interesting to rewatch the show, because again, these characters are fictional, but it's interesting to be like, how much of the shipping is just them playing off of each other? How much of that dynamic is rooted in his real world admiration of her? It's interesting. It's something for me to think about. especially coming from the world of Sid Carmi, how much of Sid Carmi is just Jeremy's love for Io and the fact that he makes real life hard eyes at her all the time. Not saying I ship them, not in an RPF way, just in like a, you can look at photos, the way they act, the way he acts around her in interviews and IRL and at award shows is incredibly similar to the way he acts on camera with her. So there's that. But I think with Kingdon, they definitely dial it up quite a bit. It's very intentional in a way that is interesting. The Mel and Kiara scene, T, I love how awkward she is now she's worried about Tyler. I love that too. I love how she reintroduced herself. I think it's so cute. I just love Mel. I think season 1 Mel, as time goes on, and I think it's easy to, like, especially when you're reading so much fic or engaging in fan spaces, Mel can, in my head, kind of become like a caricature of herself and kind of just become her big elements. But the way Taylor plays Mel is so well-rounded, where you see her autistic traits and you see her being more sensitive and having those hard moments, and you also see her as a woman and as an adult, and while she may be awkward, she is incredibly competent. And I love how in the first trauma scene, she just jumps right in, but she's also like, yeah, I got it. Like, there's something really special about that I don't think can be understated of how much of a fully realized person she is. We see that a lot in season 2 as well. I think especially in the scenes with Langdon, you get to see her really be herself. I love her. I think she's the best. Okay. And last but certainly not least in this episode, Stemi with me Mel. Stemi with me Mel is the cathedral walk. It's not even a fucking cathedral. It is just the moment. He knows her glove size and he's handing them to her. 2, them running through the Stemi with me Mel, I'm right behind you, Kiara kind of clocking them. Her running, her grinning at him, and him running up behind her. There's just something so fucking special about it that destroys me every time I see it. I just can't get enough of it. I love them. I think they're amazing. I think they're incredible. I just fucking love it. I just love them. I think they're hilarious and adorable. And like her trying to hit the thing and failing, them running out, the fact that this guy gets excellent care, the fact that she's like, I already have his wife's number. And they are so married there. It's not even a fucking conversation. In more of my notes, I say the way she smiles at him when he gets her gloves and then runs backwards her. I also just think of how great it must feel for Mel to be hours into her first shift at her new job and where she's going to spend about the next 3 years and already know that she has someone in her corner. They work together so well. It's just, they're also so married there. Like, and I say this about Kingdom, but like, they're so married here in my head, or I'll say it aloud. It's like, fangirlness to just say like, these characters are so married here. But there's something so specific and so special to me about them when they like lock in and are like moving in step and doing everything together. I will often say to myself, they're so married there because it feels like they have like married their skills and married their talents as well as being obviously like a committed romantic couple. But when I picture married Kingdon, I picture almost less than we have now, but like quiet moments of affection, just like joined at the hip, working together perfectly, giving excellent, competent care. I'm obsessed with them. I love them. Trinity and Mel, I hate it here. There's that Trinity and Mel scene where she's like, I really hope we can be friends. And then she walks away from her, which is often used in edits over that Taylor Dearden bit where she talks about people leaving her consistently in season 1 and leaving Mel. And I have talked before about my feelings about Trinity, and my feelings about Trinity are that Trinity bullies Mel, and then we are expected to forgive her. And I have a hard time with that. I just really struggle with it. I feel it is a personal thing for me. And also, these are fictional characters. I was talking to someone about this. These are fictional characters. And like that tweet, we treat real people like fictional characters and fictional characters like real people. And I really have to be like, this is a TV show when it comes to them, because I will shove, like, it just hits that bullied autistic girl. The way I get bullied in my adult life is the way Trinity treats people. I have to pull it out and be like, you're being weird, Angel, you're being fucking weird, and just like shove it away. Which I feel like if you're gonna consume TV with media literacy, you have to do, because sometimes I'll be like, I'm being weird about this storyline, not because the storyline deserves someone being weird about it, but because I have baggage and these fucking fictional characters are making me feel weird, and I have to like shove it away. And that's Trinity and Mel for me, and I hate it. Like, this was a hot take episode. This was me just ranting. I go rant about how pissed off I am about it in its own way, even though I really like both characters. But this is the main feed, and all I'm gonna say is I don't like it. I have a hard time with it, and that's a me thing. Chill. No hate to Mentos or anything like that. Just I have my own problem. Okay, if I ever make merch for the pod, if I ever make merch for the pod, there's gonna be one shirt that says Rollins equals doomed Kingdon, and also a pair of booty shorts that say Kingdon. I'm kidding, but Rollins equals Jim Kingdon. The Rollins scene in this episode is amazing. I love Rollins as a Kingdon parallel. I talk about this almost every week, but the existence of what, in my opinion, is a similar dynamic of, okay, so if Langdon is made in Robbie's image, if he's the Eve of his ribs, then Robbie's existence and his relationship with Collins kind of there's some contrast there of like, okay, well, Robbie couldn't have the woman and the job, and he can't recover, he can't get better, or at least that's how he feels. But Frank could have the woman, and he could have the job, and he could recover. And him having Mel, him getting with the resident, him having that workplace relationship would, you know, prove that it's possible, and that it was Robbie's own mistakes that fucked up his relationship with Collins, and also be yet another parallel to show that, hey, this is how it works. So, just saying. I don't know. But anytime I see Rollins, I'm like, Kingdon Cathedral. I also think that the way that they are filmed and framed is very similar to Kingdon, which, that is between God and the cinematographer, guys. Like, I don't know what to fucking tell you about that. I really love... So this episode also includes one of my all-time favorite scenes, which is Robbie trying to pee. And Langdon comes in and is like, hey, we got some sort of patient that needs something, and then he goes, systolic's 90, and Robbie has his pants pulled down. He's like, just give me a second. He goes, systolic's 90. He goes, fuck, and he pulls his pants up, and Langdon is like leaning over like, hey, like, we need you now. You have to come you can't pee. We have to save a life. He comes out, and I love when they're shocking him. I love how Langdon and Mel are talking to each other, and I love how Mel's just like, cycle BP. You can't see me, obviously it's an audio format, but she like twirls her, I was like twirling my fingers, she's like, cycle BP. And I just love how she seems really comfortable with Langdon right away, more so than with the other doctors and other residents, even more so than she does like in season 2. To be fair, she's very anxious in season 2, but still, you know. I say in the notes, I love Mel seems so confident scene, which we almost never see except for when she's working with Frank, especially in season 2. She's a badass always, but when she's around him, she's in charge. I love how it shows the pre-addiction Robbie Frank dynamic well. Yeah, it does too, because you can see like Robbie and Frank being like, good job, and like they're talking to each other, and they're like, you know, buddy and bros, and it's great. And I love that fucking scene. It's a great scene. And I also love that that's a scene that telegraphs Langdon's addiction, because we get the, you know, that he's vaping, and he's like, it's gonna be a bitch to kick. And you kind of see Langdon, and you see him kind of staring at the guy, and like he lingers a little bit, and he looks a little awkward, and he goes, thanks, boss, good job. It's kind of awkward. I just feel that he's hiding something. Okay, for 1X04, I have like 4 notes, because there's one scene of them, which is the scene with them, the bug. It's the scene with the bug, which is buzzy as fuck. Now, underrated, classic, dare I say. I think one of my most underrated Kingdon scenes, off the top of my head, this scene, I would again say like guy with the systolic, that's a big one for me. I think that the scene of them treating the asthma kid is in every edit, but is inexplicably underrated. I would also, I feel like we've gifted every scene into oblivion, but like high key, original Terrence scene and original ambulance bay scene is like kind of underrated at this point. I feel like it's getting squashed by, but also like both the ambulance bay scenes feel underrated to me. This is my truth, even though they are gifted into oblivion. I just feel like there's something about the way he has to like look down at her. Don't get me started on their height difference, okay? I'm going crazy. Okay, for 1X04, the scene with them, the bug, it's buzzy as fuck. The way he follows her, just whipped. He's licking his lips. Like, I've seen gift sets where I'm like, sir, why are you just, like, grinning at her? And I think that Patrick was probably making the character choice for Frank, that, like, Frank would think it's funny. Because Frank would think it's funny. But he's just standing so close to her, and he's licking his lips, and it's buzzy as fuck. Working in tandem as perfect as it gets. Like, also to get it out of the ear, they're, like, handing each other stuff, and they're doing it perfectly. And you're like, either you've each done this a million times, or married at first sight, which, like, I feel like it's the latter. I also just think it would be crazy to say that Langdon and Mel as a pair observed by confirmed ex Rollins, because Rollins also looks at them in this episode, because they're like talking to each other while they come by with the bug, and then he goes, arthropod in the AAC, and they're walking, and Rollins are like, yeah, cathedrals. And finally, the scene where her and Samira are examining the baby, and I fucking hate when Samira is like, don't say meningitis so loud, because like tea and real, but also leave my girl alone, she's having a hard day, okay, like it's a lot for her, let her live. But Mel holding the diaper bag is in fact a cathedral. The way I feel about Mel Preg could get me arrested. I care about Mel Preg on a level that I don't think anyone's ever cared about it before. I was here except maybe Dr. Melbrowse. I was here with Mel Preg day motherfucking one, okay? I was looking at pregnancy in the fic tags when there were like 6 fics, okay? I was waiting with a bated breath for the first pregnancy fics to be published, okay? I love Mel Preg so deeply, and I watched Mel Preg Summer begin, and I'm going to watch Mel Preg Summer continue to thrive, and I will accept no hate and no defeat for my love of Mel Preg. Mel Preg forever, Mel Preg on top. Thank you. Okay, now it's time for asks. All right, this is the one ask I got about these episodes, which is fine. We support and for the pod. First of all, I just want to say that I'm a big fan of the show. I love hearing others fangirl about these characters as much as I do. It's my dream. It's all I ever want to do is fangirl about these characters. This is the first time I'm an active member of a TV show fandom, more specifically a ship, and I'm so glad that everyone I've interacted with has been so nice and respectful. It can be scary out there. Yeah, it can be. It's so scary. Even wider Pitt fandom is scary. I talked about this in my bonus episode that I recorded yesterday, and there's so much bullshit, especially when the show's airing. There's so much bullshit, but I love it here, and I'm going to stay here as long as y'all will have me. Okay, time for the actual asks. When I first started watching The Pitt, the romantic in me immediately wanted to ship Mel and Langdon due to the fact they spent a little bit too much time together. Yeah! But then I caught Langdon's wedding ring and shut that thought down. I no longer associate with that ethical line of thinking. Laughing emoji. Same girl! Listen, the official statement of the pod is infidelity is bad. My statement is cheat on your wife, Frank Langdon. Okay? But the pod, as a business entity, is anti-infidelity. Okay? Anti-real-life infidelity. Anti-fictional infidelity. We are an ethical company. Angel's opinion? Cheat on your motherfucking wife, Frank Langdon. Keep the ring on. Keep the ring on. Keep the fucking ring on, Frank. What are you trying to hide? Back to the ask. But after rewatching these episodes, I am like, come on, guys, you are making this way too easy. Frank watching Mel when talking about Mr. Milton's treatment. Sir, calm down. You can't look at her like that. Don't even get me started on the Stemi with me, Mel. Him giving her gloves. Sir, how do you know what glove size she wears? The little run they do and him running backwards to her. I died. To conclude my probably incoherent ramble, Frank's favoritism is very apparent in this episode. Side note, I am so sad that Whittaker did not get Mel's joke about the pathologist. Frank probably would have. Sorry for the long ask. Once again, love the pod, and I'm so excited to hear the episode. Yay! And this is from Toxic? Hysithan? I don't know how to say that. I'm embarrassed. That's embarrassing to myself. You know who you are. You know. We follow each other. We're mutuals. You know. Yeah. No notes. Also that Mel's joke about the pathologist is fucking hilarious. And the joke is like, at least I'm not a pathologist. I think she's like, pathologists only say dead things. I think that's a joke. I am also autistic and sometimes I don't get jokes, which is funny for someone who tells them, not for a living, but tells them a lot. And then these two asks are not related to the episodes we watched, but that is also okay. If you just want to send asks, send them my way. I want the asks. This is, hello, I haven't used Tumblr since 2020 and Kingdon has brought me back, and that's why I found your podcast, which I love, by the way. I have 2 questions for the pod. Firstly, what are your theories about what Mel and Frank's story arcs are for season 3? Very topical, as they just started filming. Secondly, I love Jealous Frank and a love triangle. Do you think Shen could be a part of a love triangle between them? If so, what would be your headcanons for them? Anyway, thanks for the pod. And this is from Not Now Never 555. Real. That's real, babe. It's a real username. Love. Okay. One, I'm so happy that Kingdon brought you back to Tumblr. Tumblr is my favorite social media site and the only one that deserves rights because it's filled with gay people who I love. Gay people on my phone. I also feel like we do discourse, but not at the level. There's just not enough people to do at the level of a Twitter or a TikTok. The Twitter discourse makes everyone else look sane. So, yeah, happy to be on Tumblr. I love Tumblr. So firstly, what are my theories on what Mel and Frank's story arcs for season 3? Guys, I got fucking theories, all right? My biggest theory for season 3, okay, so I have my dark theory of like, I don't even want to speak it into existence. and then my like hopeful theory. So my dark theory is that I think Mel's gonna have a one-sided crush on Frank, simply because of Gemmel's growing admiration for a certain someone quote, which, in case you're wondering, yes, is oftentimes the first thing I think of when I wake up in the morning. I will wake up at 3 a.m. to go to my job at the hospital, and I'll be like, Mel's growing admiration for Langdon. So, thoughts, feelings, emotions about that. Yeah, so I'm worried she's gonna have a one-sided crush on Frank. I think Frank's gonna be divorced. I just do. I think that the Patrick interviews and the Gemmel interviews have really, really, really pointed to divorce Frank. I think Frank is the most divorced man in America. I do not see a world where he is still married, and if he is still married, I will be fucking shocked. I also am they are going to cast Abby Langdon truther. As you guys know, I love Abby. I love Abby so much. She is a fictional character who we have never met. We know 4 things about. We don't know what she looks like. We don't know her middle name. We don't even know if her full name is Abby or not. She could be Abigail. But through fanfic and through my own delusions and thinking about her, I'm obsessed with Abby. And I want nothing more than meet Abby. I want to meet Tanner, and I want to meet Penny. So I also just think that Patrick, having just had a conversation with Gemmel before that interview he gave where he talks about Frank's marriage being bad, I think that his marriage is going to be a bigger focus. I think they were really telegraphing that in season 2, and I think it's going to come back around. And I think if they don't, they're hacks. No, I'm kidding. But I think that if they don't, it's a missed opportunity, and it was stupid that they didn't. For Mel, I think that for Mel, what I want to see from her, so the problem is that Frank's storyline is very open of like, okay, well, how did he adapt to being in the ED for these 10 months? I think it's also like we're going to get established, or these 4 months, we're going to get established relationship with Kingdon for the first time ever. I guess season 2 was kind of established, but they're meeting again. She's meeting him at a different place, and he's meeting her at a different place. They're different people than they were when they first met, and I heavily headcanon that when they get together, in my head, they don't consider their meeting in September to be their first meeting, but rather they're meeting in July, because that is when they could meet each other and know each other sober and clean, and the closest Frank is yet to his true self. I mean, aren't we all becoming all the time? Yeah. I feel like Frank's is going to be about how his life is kind of, because in season 2 he's coming back and his life is very clearly still in the process of falling apart, and he's still in the process of rebuilding. And it's been about 14 months after, a full year, so he'll be a full year out from what happened, and he won't be a year sober yet. I don't think he might be. I can't remember. I think he's like 7 or 8 months sober in the end of season 2, so I believe that he'll be getting closer and he'll be like really there. I would not be shocked if they did a relapse storyline. I think it'd be really tacky and gross, but I don't doubt that could be an option. But beyond like what I think could happen, my biggest prediction is it's going to be a lot of Frank's marriage and a lot of Frank kind of looking around and trying. I think Robbie's going to be back. I think that Frank is going to be more confident, and we're going to see him kind of try to prove himself to Robbie still, and maybe this season is him realizing that he doesn't need to prove himself to Robbie, and kind of a continuation of that goodness that Mel's bestowed on him and like really shown him that he has. And my hope for season 3, and I truly don't have like any prediction, but my hope, I mean, this is kind of prediction. This is not what I think it's less of like, this is exactly what I think they're going to do. And it's more, I hope this is what they do. I could see them doing this, but I don't know for sure. And I'm not like saying concrete, but I think maybe. And what I hope to see is Mel's storyline will be a little bit more of her standing up for herself, more confident with Langdon because of the relationship Langdon's given her, and also the confidence Langdon's given her through their relationship. And also I'm hoping to see her standing up for herself, and maybe she's not watching Elf as much, and she's just like being her own woman outside of Becca and outside of caregiving and outside of being a doctor. That's what I want from Mel. I also would not be surprised if there's a relationship with Trinity, some friendship there, but what I'm really hoping for and what I really want to see, but I also think there's a really high chance that she will be quite clearly attracted to Langdon. And I don't want to live in a world where that's a one-sided crush. I'm terrified of that. That is like DEFCON 1 for me, dude. I'm scared. But I also don't know if they do that. I feel like if they were to do that, it would be like the bear writing on Claire and being like, hey guys, fuck you. Go fuck yourself. I hope you die. Which is basically what Chris Stower said to me when he cast Molly Gordon to be Claire and wrote her in. Now, fun fact about Angel, I can't watch anything Molly Gordon's in because it makes me really angry. Because I hate Claire so much. But also my hot take about Claire was that she was set up to fail, and like it's like a misogynist psyop. And so like I have such complicated feelings about this fucking fictional character played by Molly Gordon that I don't watch anything Molly Gordon's in because I'll just get mad. And I'm not mad at Molly Gordon. The only crime she committed was playing a character on a hit TV show. Oh, the humanity. I also have to say this about if they cast Abby. You guys better be fucking normal about her. I trust that, like, my crew, my listeners, my people will be normal about her, but oh my god, if people harass that actress, we're gonna look so bad, and we will deserve to look that bad, because it's embarrassing if you harass that actress. Yeah. In a nutshell, my predictions are Mel being a more independent woman, lots of Kingdon friendship, maybe in horror, I think she's gonna have a crush on him. Hopefully it's not one-sided. I think Frank is going to be the most divorced man in America and really kind of struggling with figuring himself out and kind of having an identity crisis, but also fucking serving and eating. And I think that this will be the season where he realizes he doesn't need to please Robbie and that he's done the work. And this will also be the season where Robbie forgives him and realizes that Langdon did go on to be better than him. And I think that if Kingdon were to kiss, that would add to it because it would be his Collins. And that's like kind of, and like, it'd also be like Mel also kind of doing what Collins couldn't and having her man, having her career, and having her life. You know what I'm saying. And if she were to get pregnant and keep it, like, that also wouldn't not be a parallel. Like, we are closer to canon Melpreg than anyone knows. All right, and then let's talk a little bit about the Shen of it all. Now, I love Shen. I love Jack. And I don't talk about my Jack Abbott love on here very much, if at all. But I need you to know that before I was the thirstiest woman in the world for Frank Langdon, because now Frank Langdon above Jack Abbott for me. Hot take, I know. But before then, it was Jack Abbott all the way down. I saw him walk onto screen and was like, I love that old man. And I need you to know, I fell in love with that old man the first MCI episode the week it aired. And frankly, that's about as early as one could thirst over Jack Abbott. Now, there are people who have claimed to be thirsting over him episode 1, and also when they found out he lied for the teen with methylpristone, which is sexy as shit, very into that. But when he donated blood while saving lives, I experienced emotions that are illegal in 12 countries. So I don't know what else to tell you. But I like Shen too. Shen's great. Big fan of Shen. I want more Shen. I love him. And could Shen be a part of a love triangle between them? First of all, I hate the term love triangle. If it's a true love triangle, the men should kiss. Thank you. If not, that's just two guys fighting over a girl. Or a girl having to pick between two guys, which, call that what it is. Not a love triangle. A love triangle, the men are also fucking. The only true love triangle is challengers, okay? Leave me out of this. I do love Jealous Frank. So I feel like, in my head, what are my headcanons for those three? I'm so happy you asked. Not now, ever 555. Because I have so many headcanons. And my headcanon for that is Mel is desperately in love with Frank. But Frank, freshly divorced, figuring himself out, and Mel, she's like me, autistic. A guy could be head over heels in love with me and I couldn't tell. And she can't tell. And she's just, she's like, I am so in love with Frank and I'm never going to have Frank. Maybe, spice it up a little, Frank's still married. Or, like, about to get divorced, or just, like, really freshly divorced. Like, it's not the time for Mel. And she loves this man down. And she wants him desperately. But she's just like, I can't have him, and he's not going to be with me, and I can't wait around for this guy who's just my best friend, and I'm being crazy, and she's, like, spiraling out. And then Shen likes her. Shen's liked her since the day he saw her. He thinks she's cool and cute, and he likes her not in the all-consuming, our souls must merge, I've known you my entire life, red string of fate way that Mel and Frank have, but in the normal way that most people feel, where he's like, this is a cute girl. I like her. We work at the same place. It would be convenient if we dated. And I think Shen is very, very casual. I remember during the MCI episodes, this is so important to me, during the MCI episodes, we were all like, wow, he must be so traumatized because he's so unflappable and chill. And then he came back for season 2 and we were like, that is just his personality. That's just his personality. He's just like that. He walks into chaos and is like, there's no cake? I wanted cake. Sad puppy dog eyes. Shen is the best. I love Shen. So I feel like he asked her out. They go out for drinks. And Mel isn't really that into him. Mel's like, sure, fine. Like, she's like, I need to get over Frank. And he's perfectly nice. And I could probably like him if I tried. So they go out. Which is how I feel about lots of men. They go out, and Frank is so jealous. He's angry. He's losing his entire mind. And I also am obsessed with the headcanon of, like, Frank being like, Mel being like, Frank, can you come over and help me pick out, like, Frank's, like, at her apartment before she goes on her date, because he's her best friend. He's helping her pick out outfits. Same thing with Samira. I feel like her and Samira are hanging out, and Samira's like, ooh, you're gonna get with Shen. And, like, Mel does not want to have sex with Shen. Mel is uninterested, and she feels so bad because he's such a nice guy. He's such a great guy. We love Shen. But Mel can't do it. Mel just can't get behind it. And Frank is so fucking jealous. And truthfully, I headcanon that Mel lies to Frank and is like, she's never said, and this is a virgin Mel headcanon too, which I don't think she's a virgin in canon, but I like virgin Mel, okay? Like, it's for the purpose of a smutty fanfic. It does something for a girl. Like, listen. But I feel like Mel comes in and is like, I haven't kissed anyone in a long time. And so her and Frank have to make out to practice for Shen. And they have to have sex because Mel's never had sex before. And she wants to do it with someone she loves and she cares about and who's going to take care of her. And then maybe she sips the Shen here or there. And maybe they start dating because Frank's still married to Abby. And Mel's like, well, I should try. And maybe in this universe where Frank and Abby are still married, he's just suffering in silence until finally he just breaks at a gala and they're making out. And he's like, is this what you do to him? Is this what you say to him? Maybe they have this affair going. And Mel's like, you don't want to hurt him. I should keep up this. Frank's never going to leave his wife. Should keep up appearances. Frank is the most jealous man in the entire world. And then she has their secret affair baby. And that is what God is about. You know what I mean? No, I'm kidding. I also there's a cathedral in my mind and it is Frank blind with rage jerking off in the shower. Horny and blind with rage, picturing Mel. And he's picturing Mel, and Shen keep popping into his head, and he's so fucking, and it, keeps, ruining the moment. He's so mad about it. I also love the idea of them dating, and, again, very casual. Mel is very much in love with Frank still. He's not going to marry this man, but Frank is like, she's found someone better for her. And he's also, so mad at Shen, and it makes handoff hellish, and everyone's like, what is your fucking problem? Or maybe, he's, so mad internally, but he's, trying not to let it show, but Mel can tell, and Shen can't. I'm building cathedral. Okay. And then the final thing is I got an ask for an on that I'm not going to read because it didn't say it before the pod, but it is asking what they think about Patrick Ball's, opinion of Kingdon, if he knows about Kingdon. And this person is saying, hey, no one, Becky Shaw's ended, but this person was talking about, they never bring anything Kingdon to the stage door. And to that I say, yeah, they fucking do. Subtle Kingdon references are in almost everything fangirls bring to stuff. He is getting, at least from what I've seen posted, plenty of subtle Kingdon stuff. And Patrick Ball, at least from interviewers and things like that, he is very aware of Kingdon. So is Taylor Jordan. I think they're incredibly, if anything, they're overexposed to it. Patrick Ball is aware of the community. And I hope that he, doesn't know about our Tumblr. I hope to God they don't know about the podcast. But I think that they know both more and less than we think they do. And truthfully, I wonder more what the writers think of it. Because, at least with the Pitt, really, really with the Pitt, the actors do not have input. They don't know what the fuck is going on. Patrick admitted it freely, which means that, when they get up and give those fuck-ass interviews, I'm not paying attention to it, because if Patrick Ball himself is I don't know, we don't know until 4 episodes before, 3 episodes before, they don't know where the story's going. They are kept purposely in the dark. And because of that, I refuse to believe they know shit, because they don't know shit. They admitted that they don't know shit. Fuck it, guess we both ain't shit, to quote Megan Thee Stallion. So, it doesn't really matter what they think of Kingdon. They're not writing the show. They don't have a lot of input on the show. They don't know what's going on the show. Now, it matters to me what the writers think of Kingdon. And I'm a staunch believer we're not going canon. I refuse to have hope Sid Carmi bred it out of me. In a perfect world where we go canon and they kiss on screen and I have to be hospitalized because I've lost my mind. It's fallen out of my head. I don't know. I think that it doesn't, I think he knows way more than we think he does, and I also think he knows way less than I think he does, and I also think it doesn't matter. Which is a very non-committal answer, but I feel like you guys know what I'm getting at, which is he knows, and he probably knows more than you'd like. He's probably aware of some smutty fanfic or something somewhere that someone showed him when they, someone drunk at a cast party showed sober Patrick Ball something crazy, and he knows more than we want him to. And at the same time, he doesn't know about the pod. He doesn't know about the Tumblr group. He doesn't know about the Discord. He doesn't know about how much momentum and activity is behind it and just how much love people have for these characters. He really loves his fans. He really loves us, and he's very supportive of us having community. And he's said as much at stage doors of I am so happy that you guys have this, which to me is more than enough, because Jeremy and Io don't like the Sid Carmies and are actively unsupportive of it. And there are plenty of people, Dean Supernatural was unsupportive of the Destiels. And so the fact that he even has acknowledged our existence and admits it as a good thing, and he's happy it exists, even if that isn't where the show is going, I'm fine with that. I think that's beautiful. I think that him being happy that we exist and have community is all that matters to me, because that to me feels like the blessing of you can ship, even if that's not where it's going, which I appreciate, even if that does ring true to the Destiel of days prior, the queerbait foretold in yore. And that is the episode. Now, did I get my shit together to make notes for it? No, I didn't. Because I'm, dare I say, an loser. A loser like me, as the Glee cast would say. But you should all go check out Allison of Allison After Dark, my bestie, my girl. You should all go check out her incredible document, Anatomy of Kingdon, which has incredible analysis for episode 3 and 4, which I did not get my shit together to read on the pod, but they're fucking amazing, and you should go read it, because it's probably better than anything I said. She's amazing, and, like, go follow her blog. Just go follow her. You will not regret it once. And if you do, you can bring it up with me, and I'll take it, because I support her that much. I love her. That's my girl. Okay, guys, as always, go make something. Go make some fan content. I shared last week, I think I said with Audra, I was like, the lifeblood of fandom are people writing their first fanfics and people taking photos of their sketchbooks with fan art in them. And someone shared their sketchbook fan art and said they were inspired by the pod to share it. And it was really good fan art. And I was very excited. And thank you so much. So I just love you guys. I love you guys so much. I think you're the best. You're the best listeners and fans. And I'm fucking obsessed with you. So go write some fanfic. Go read some fanfic, go like some fan art, go make some fan art, go make a fan song, a fan podcast, a cosplay, an edit, a fan vid, if you will. Go make a collage or a manip. Go enjoy, go be free, go do what they said was cringe and do it free. And this coming week is Kingdon week. Oh my fucking god. Happy Kingdon week, everybody. I can't wait to talk about it. The episode I am dropping this week is going to blow your fucking mind. Not to hype it up too much, but it's gonna blow your fucking mind. The guest I got it's gonna blow your fucking mind. You're gonna be so excited. And yeah, I can't wait to talk to you guys again soon. All right. Bye.